Seems like the right thing to do. He wouldn't run on his own.
He's very brash.
There's also the element of, wants to prove that his dad wasn't what everyone says he was. What does his dad do? Something dishonorable. The only thing I can think of that he would have done dishonorable was run away. Unless we have actually a greater dishonor coming our way, we'll find out. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Ray. You've heard the introduction twice now.
How you guys doing? I'm Ray from Art Nights. Good to be back here. I hope you guys are enjoying the show.
All right, we just got done with episode 2 of Record of Lodoss War.
Yes, sir.
Something I wanted to bring up, I've said it a couple of times now. I side with the bad guys. I've said this a number of times. I feel like it needs at least addressing once. I prefer the bad guys because bad guy stories are more interesting.
Well, with that said, I think you're going to like this episode then.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, I forgot the next time on. I'm going to meet them. Well, I just mean it from the aspect of last episode when we were talking about Parn and the aspects of his character, and I kept saying it would have been more interesting if everyone had died. Yeah. I mean that from the aspect of bad guys' stories are more interesting because bad guys don't have plot armor. The more you know about a bad guy does not have anything to do with their likelihood to survive any encounter with the good guys. They just want to show up any episode and die. So you get a named bad guy who has backstory, have character relationships. Any moment could die.
And the stakes are higher for them, for whatever their motivations are. But it's also interesting to know what motivates a bad guy. Because sometimes the motivation of a bad guy may not be any different than you and I would have done. Depending on what the motivation really happened.
I tend to pull out a lot of utilitarian arguments, so sometimes.
If you think of Game of Thrones, a lot of these people were making decisions that offhand appeared genuinely evil, but meanwhile there was they thought in their head they were doing the right thing. You know what I mean?
Sorry, you're jumping to Game of Thrones and your current love for Battlestar Galactica reminds me how much you like shows that just have bad endings. Listen,
I'm going to disagree with you on those things. I thought Game of Thrones is definitely a bad ending, but the books are so far good. But the thing I'm saying is that what makes a person
the books are far good. How's that coming along? When's that newest book coming out? Well,
we got a new video game coming out. You're going to rewrite the ending to the book, to the TV show at least. But still, though, in terms of, I do find it fascinating what makes a bad guy a bad guy. Is it pure evil? Are they under control by somebody else? Is there, what exactly are there? Like nowadays, when you watch anime or you read a book or movies, a lot more bad guys are a bit more complex than what they used to be.
Well, yeah, because a lot of older bad guys. Yeah, a lot of older bad guys would just be like evil for evil's sake, right?
Evil for evil's sake, correct.
Sadists who just enjoy watching people suffer. I would say there's a lot of bad guys in anime history that the twist is that they have an understandable reason for doing things. Like Magic Knight Rayearth, it's love. He's doing everything out of love. It seems like he's like destroying everything, but it's like actually no, the person he's in love with, he's actually trying to break them out of the thing that they're stuck in, which is being the pillar that holds everything together. That person has to sacrifice everything to be that pillar. So he's trying to destroy that in order to free the woman that he loves. And that's the twist at the end, is that she also loves him, and she's insanely angered by his death. So it's like, I enjoy, I was going to say, maybe not so much the top tier of the bad guys. I know, even though I may have been drawn as the Emperor, I don't know. The top tier of the bad guys are the ones that seem to make the least sense because they're the ones controlling everything, and it's their ideals that then cause everything. Maybe more so middle tier bad guys. You remember Operation British from Gundam?
Yes.
Where they drop the colony on the Earth, kill half the population and everything. A lot of other Gundam stories will sometimes take, what do the Zeon people who aren't part of that think of that? And a lot of it is just sometimes it's human response, like, oh my god, what the fuck have we done? But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you're still on Xeon's side. They're not going to forgive you. You know, you don't take the Nazi uniform off, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, so at the end of the day, how do those people then move on from what they've done while still believing in Xeon independence, right? At the end of the day, you're fighting for your political rights, you're fighting for your right to exist, but at the end of the day, you're also saddled with what did my government do? So,
And especially you see the character struggling with that fact. Like, I don't like what they did. You know, it's like you ever seen Tombstone, the cowboy movie? And
I've never seen it to completion now.
There's one cowboy who does that. You know, he's with the cowboys, he's with all stuff, and then they do something that he changes his heart. You know, but he was evil from the get go. Right, evil, but he was the bad guys for the matter. They did something that was over the top, and they're like, I give up on that. So it happened. Like their complications, and it's good to see that. You know, where there is that questioning. They question themselves. Why are we doing this? And I like when they do that. You know, as opposed to just going in there, I'm bad, he's bad, you know, and then laughing at it for no reason, just for the fact that it's just a bad thing to do and it's evil to do. So,
I mean,
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's also the difficulty with, say, bringing it back to Lodoss, where you're having bad guys that are goblins, right? Goblins don't tend to have any complexity around them. And they had the opportunity here, I guess, but they also decided to show us that the goblins don't have understandable language. Like, they just all gathered around each other, and then it turns out they were mind controlled, so they're not even responsible for what they were doing.
Yeah, and but who was mind controlling them? They never brought that up, did they?
That's what I said. It didn't seem like the boss goblin was a warlock or anything, so it didn't seem like he was doing it. But again, the element that it took the agency away from the goblins for being responsible. Like, the villagers say, oh no, they're going to come back and try and get revenge for their man. It's like, okay, that's motivation. I understand that motivation. You know, you killed one of the members of my family. You know, you put one of us in the hospital, we put one of you in the grave. You know, that sort of thing. I understood that. They didn't have to be mind controlled. At the end of the day, goblins don't have the best reputation amongst fantasy races. Like, that's why I said, when they wake up, what are they going to do? They're going to start stabbing people again. Mind controlled or not, they're still goblins. Maybe I'm being fantasy racist. I don't know.
All right. But I do understand where you're coming from when it comes to that. They're more fascinating as opposed to the good guy who's is usually pretty vanilla.
Well,
for the most part.
It's levels of excitement, right? I'm not going to be that excited about Parn. Maybe as a conceit towards what he's going through emotionally, his character relationships, like that stuff, I can be on board with. But Parn gets into a fight, I don't think I'm ever going to be afraid that Parn's going to die. Like, granted, he's part of a 6-person ensemble. Maybe they could whittle down the ensemble, but they've painted him as a hero. He is on the hero's journey right now. I don't suspect Parn is going to die at any point, but if he does, it's going to be like episode 11, episode 12. So I'm not afraid for Parn. And if I'm not afraid for him, what is the level of excitement? What is the purpose of a fight?
I mean, it's to resolve to come to a resolution to something, a disagreement.
No, I mean, like in an animated show, right? The purpose of a fight is either to save a third party that might be in danger. Like, it's the how do you threaten Superman argument, right? You threaten the people around him, you threaten the things he cares about. You can't threaten Superman. And when a writer does not understand that, and they just go after Superman, oh no, guy brought out the kryptonite. Metallo exposed his kryptonite to Superman. Now Superman's on his knees. I don't ever think, oh, this is the episode where they kill Superman. No, that's never going to happen. If it does, he'll just come back. I'm not worried about Superman not existing anymore. So when Parn gets into a fight, if the only threat is that Parn will die, then I'm not threatened. It's not interesting anymore. I'm just going to be waiting till the fight's over and then figure out what we're doing from there.
But don't you feel that way about the Fullmetal Alchemist or Berserk? I mean, you can say that also for.
Well, Berserk, you know, the threat isn't always death. Death isn't the worst thing you can do to a person.
Yeah, it's a different category. But I'm saying you're not.
In Fullmetal Alchemist, he has things he cares about, or they have things that they care about that can be taken away from them, or introduced to be taken away from them. Like, we're trying to find a way to get our mom back. Well, we have information about that, but we're not going to tell you. Like, there's things that you can do. Full Metal Alchemist is one of the best anime in a lot of people's opinions because it understands that. That I'm not worried that, oh, they're going to get into a fight and what's going to happen. No, it's someone stole Ed's watch, and Ed's watch has the inscription about the date that they burnt their house down as a reminder never to go back again, because they're always going to be moving forward to get their bodies back or whatever, right? The threat is to things around them. The how do you threaten Superman done right. So in a good show, not a worry. In a bad show, it's exhausting to keep getting into fights where I know none of them matter.
Yeah. No, I get you.
Again, that's why I brought up stakes last episode. What is the stakes here? I need to know what the stakes are to be concerned, because if there's no stakes and it's just hero fights bad guy, I know how that goes. Hero wins, bad guy loses.
I have something I want to say, but I have a feeling that what I'm going to say is going to spoil some stuff. But I understand your concerns, and I still think it's still early on in the show to
just general statements.
No,
I'm not weighing down anything on the show. Like, this is my general opinion as a jaded anime watcher who has watched so much stuff.
And you're 2 episodes in, and you have every right to be upset. So
again, I'm not upset. This was just I know I used Parn as the example, but that's only because Parn is the hero of the show, right? I could have used any other show. It just, like, I'm throwing out there that what I'm thinking at any given fight scene. Like, in episode 1, when they did the Parn versus the dragon, I don't know who Parn was. He could have died. I wouldn't have known. Now, episode 2, they introduced Parn's backstory. Now I know he's on the hero's journey. Less concerned about Parn dying.
Okay. I get you. Trust me, I get you.
I could also be wrong. I could also be wrong at any point in time. I'm not no expert in anime or story writing, so...
Well, the thing, I don't want to tell you you're right or wrong. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to give glimpse, but I understand where you come from too. Because a good story will have stakes. You need to have stakes for a good story. If, like you said a second ago, if you're going to fight, and you're winning every time, and there's no way you're not going to die, no one's going to care. You know, especially you word that in there, and that's something that's happened for a very long time with older shows that we've seen before, or Americanized shows. Always the good guy. Like MacGyver is always going to come out at the end. You know, the guy Knight Rider is always going to get the bad guy. Like, there really is no stakes. That ain't happen. I think it probably didn't happen really to Babylon 5. You think about it. You know,
I mean, technically, Sheridan
right?
sacrifices and dies, and then comes back with a limited lifespan, and that's the whole thing. So,
but there are others, though. Yeah, but the stakes are high, even for those he love around him, you know, and a lot of people as well. But I understand where you're coming from.
I would also argue the fact that Sheridan comes back is also the thing, right? Sheridan's not going to die. Well, Sheridan didn't die. Well, technically he did, but Superman didn't.
Not seen Babylon 5.
Well, over at our nights, they've wrapped that up. So.
Yeah, we just wrapped that up, and it was a hell of a show.
And I'm pretty more than likely this episode here recording is going to come out after yours.
Yeah,
so
more than likely.
Yeah, so I'm not worried about that. Also, it's a weird. I mean, it's not a non-existent Venn diagram. Babylon 5 and anime watchers were proof, but I'm just saying it's probably look. Me and Lessons talk about Babylon 5 quite often for examples of things. I didn't come off the top of my head, but I know I've mentioned Babylon 5 a lot for some reason. I think typically in the Gundam reactions.
Well, it's good too because it's just a gold standard that we're expecting now. Because now that we've seen that show, we kind of know like what quality is, and we're using it as a gold standard of what the story should be like.
I mean, JMS is just an amazing writer. That's why he does a lot of comic book writing. So many cartoons from the 80s and 90s, like Real Ghostbusters and all that. Like, he wrote for a lot of shows that he didn't get credit for as well. But I often bring up the idea of, for tabletop gaming, one of JMS's writing things, which is trapdoors, which is to say, if somebody can't be in the show anymore, that he has a trapdoor waiting to get rid of the character, but continue the storyline that he has planned for them. Not with just like, oh, here's a new person, here's the thing, right? The element that, what was his name? my mind's blanking. Who was the first captain of the station?
Sinclair.
Yeah, that Sinclair was having one psychological but also health problems that his character had to get trapdoored out and replaced with Sheridan. So it's a different character and a different acting style, different everything than the original captain of the station was supposed to have. But it was a thing that existed that JMS does in his writing to be able to switch people out and keep the story going.
And I don't think that's an easy feat to do either, by the way, to create trapdoors for everybody just in case. That's, first of all, that's incredible thinking and incredible mechanism to have in your writing. And I wish more shows had that.
Well, like I said, I was likening it to tabletop because, you know, if a player dies, you get a real problem. When a character dies, the ability to switch people in and out, without affecting the story too much and being able to incorporate what the new character brings to the story, assuming you're playing with the backstories and everything like that, you know.
Yeah, and it also depends on your group too. I think because I think when I'm playing with older people. Like I've DM games as a teacher for younger kids, and I DM for older people. For older people, I can get a story going, it's cohesive thing to go on. For younger people, there is no trapdoors. There's no story either. It's just whatever happens, you know, because the decisions they made, they're constantly dying. So maybe Pawn was one of these 15-year-old kids in high school. Maybe he's one of those characters making these bad decisions. But like you said, the backdoor stuff, especially for tabletop gaming,
Trapdoor.
Trapdoor, excuse me.
I mean, you have a lot of backdoor stuff in your tabletop game. You're playing.
Definitely not backdoor, but trapdoor for sure. Well.
All right. Well, I mean, anything else you want to say before we get into this episode?
I'm ready. I'm ready for this one. I'm actually excited for this one because now you're gonna see who you're supposed to be.
Yeah, can't wait. So let's go ahead and hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Oh yeah, the mural. Forgot about getting the mural again. Good 10 to 20 seconds of the mural and then the opening.
Just in case you forget.
I mean, it'd be good. Well, Marfa and Kitty, Cardius. Okay, I'm just remembering the cleric's god, I guess. I could have sworn it started with an F.
The god?
Yeah, but that would be the cleric's one. Vilius or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But I could have sworn they talked about it during the mural, but that was a K name and an M name. Like I said, I'm going to have to, when I do the board, the mythology thing, because I feel like it's not necessary, but worth keeping track of. Sorry, the board stuff that I do is constantly evolving, because I'm constantly figuring out new ways to do it better. Typically, it's just like, you know, character image, name, maybe affiliation. Well, not even affiliation anymore, because now I do boxes around them. To determine their affiliation, and then, you know, connective lines. But, yeah. I think it'd be good to be able to keep track of that if we're going to have a bunch of characters who worship different gods.
Yeah, it's funny. I've thought about, like, I have a bunch of notes here. Not one that I think about writing stuff about the gods' names.
Despite the fact that all the times you've heard it, every episode beginning.
I know, you think.
You wouldn't have to be reminded if you're told every episode. Well, I don't know. I did it for Mushoku Tensei before, because they have, like a whole ranking of gods and their power structure. And I was like, okay, maybe that's worth keeping track of. Well, here's hoping my guy is a sadist. Not sadist, a machoist, not a sadist. Beld, I knew it was a B name. What makes the island evil? I assume lack of maid service?
Could be. It could be the Apocalypse Hotel.
I mean, granted, it would be a paladin that would bury everybody after a fight, but you know, lawful, stupid. A black dragon, not a red one.
There be dragons here.
And there'd be dragons everywhere in the show.
They are, aren't they?
Wait, black and red? Oh, maybe this should have been my guy.
It's a pretty bad looking guy.
Oh, that's the Sword of Omens. Got the eyeball and everything. Okay, the woman that was talking to the dungeon master. I can't help but notice that my armor is a lot more blue in the anime.
In the drawing?
No, in the drawing it's black. When they were showing it there in the episode, it was really blue. Saving money on ink. I mean, not incredibly fast, this guy. The dwarf had, like, no concern, and then reacted.
Damn. That's messed up.
Oh, the castle from the overlay. The tree? I mean, what would the acceptable practice target be? A rock?
A rock would be worse.
I mean, for the sword. But if she's like, don't even chop the trees down, then I don't know.
That's why I think she may be a druid.
She's wearing metal.
I know, but
yeah, I guess that would make sense as a druid thing, right?
yeah, it
What's
seems
the
that
what's
way.
the least living thing? It doesn't make any sense for druids to wear wood or anything. But then again, she's wearing clothing, like cloth.
Like clothing and like
Shear the
hot
sheep
plate.
all you want, I guess. Conversely, if you had warned the village,
She's flirty too.
I mean, she's naked in the opening and ending credits, so gnolls.
That's what they are. I think they're kobolds.
Old school kobolds are dog people, new school kobolds are lizard folk. But gnolls are also like dog people too, so.
Except bigger, if I'm not mistaken. They're definitely bigger than kobolds.
Well, if they deign to tell us what these are, we'll know. Could have figured that one out on my own. How about you tell us what the other ones are? I mean, to be fair, Parn is no match for a goblin.
Definitely not a dark elf. I don't think he's ready for a dark elf.
Well, I mean, a dark elf is essentially just another person. People are above Parn. I'm assuming that was poison. Dark elf's known for poison, I think. I mean, where'd everybody else go? I mean, this does feel really D&D, though. Just a random encounter in the middle of the woods.
Alright, there you go.
Yeah. I guess it is old school kobolds then. Because yeah, if you Google up kobold right now, you'll see a little like lizard thing.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they are now. I guess arrested for consorting with a dark elf. Oh, we had to meet this guy somehow, right?
At some point, we had
It's gonna be this, or he was gonna stealing from us, and we capture him. Thank God they locked us up with all of our possessions. Okay, now it's looking a bit darker. I don't like this. I mean, I don't like that she shows up, becomes Beld's right-hand lady, and now my character is getting the lip from her.
Makes you want to understand what's her end game here.
I'm gonna guess resurrection of the old god. Seems like in episode 1 she was talking to Dungeon Master about something relating to the old gods and a previous adventuring party and everything like that. And not for nothing, they keep flashing us back to the depth of the gods. Sorry, really should have like a guitar flare with that.
That would have been great. A little riff. I also feel like he's holding like Excalibur the way he's talking about it.
I build plenty of D&D characters specifically for the ability to get locked up. And I don't mean like picking locks and shit, I just mean like characters who don't need anything. You can't disarm me, I don't have any weapons.
And I can break out of here when I want to.
Yeah. I don't want you to have any ability to take anything from me. Yeah, fellas, like I said. We already know that they've fallen. So maybe that was the future. The two kings talking to each other mentioned those two kingdoms as already have fallen. And Parn was there, wasn't he? No, he wasn't there. He was there, wasn't he?
There were two conversations. One was he was there, and one that he wasn't.
Yeah, he took the knee in front of the King of Kings. You're wearing the armor of a knight. Nope. Called the wrong guy.
モイロス・ラー
やはりファリスの司祭殿か。大変なご無礼を。どうぞ。
You legitimately. Why do you guys look surprised? You know he is a priest.
Maybe they didn't realize how rare it is, especially with the god all gone, or kind of gone.
I don't know how it's that rare. He lived in a backwater village.
近頃は日増しに物騒になってきているものですから、兵士たちもピリピリしているんです。私がもう少し早く帰ってくれば、こんな迷惑はおかけしないで済んだのですが。
ジェブラ隊長、もう分かっていただければそれでいいのです。
先ほどウッドチャックという男から。
Skullcap? Is that what it's called?
ウッドチャック。ああ、あの盗賊ですか。
None of it's been the cloth, no? I guess it would be a skull cap.
It has a name. And yes, I know this is 2 episodes since we first brought it up.
And I'm calling it a yarmulke, and I'm
あ
wrong.
いつが何を。マーモの皇帝ベルドが進軍してきたとか。ええ、すでにカノンは救えまいと。
じゃあアラニアは
今の国王陛下や重臣の方々の決断を待つのみです。
また戦ですか。
Kippa. Kippah.
見分お願いします。よし、わかった。今行く。
I say, is this where Parn gets training from actual
Warriors.
or the captain of the guard?
いかがです。皆毎晩こうして互いの腕を磨き合っているのです。
アラニアは学問を重んじる国柄ですが、ここは少々変わっていますね。
砦に集まってくる者は力が余っていて、アランの都ではどうもうまく馴染めないようで。
I'm glad they went that way with it. I was worried it was like we become dumber for the war. I mean, that would be the thing, right?
That would normally be the thing.
We prize martial strength over education because we need
Very
warriors, not
importantly.
scholars.
どうかな。
There's a reason why Athens burned so many times in the Peloponnesian Wars.
私がお相手しよう。
隊長が
あのおっちょこちょいが。
生徒を取られま
Sorry,
した
that was Phoenician Wars, wasn't it? Not the Peloponnesian Wars. It's a long way to travel for war if you're in Greece.
よしと。
まだまだったくもうめちゃくちゃなんだからほんと
どうだパーン。ここで腕を磨いてみんか。お前なら強くなれる。アラニアには強い。
Because I've got an adventure to go on.
隊長
I also point out, easily distractible.
話考えておいてくれ。
And lesson to take away is the captain didn't scream every time he swings.
Again, I think it could be an age thing with him.
Meanwhile, in Marmo, I just assumed it was Marmo because of the overcast skies and everything.
These more dragons?
Goblins, I would think. Or kobolds. Because, I mean, obviously it's not Marmo, it's just the castle we were just at with the dark skies.
Well, it's hard to differentiate. I really thought that was a Marmo for real.
I thought it was until we saw the creatures. What the fuck?
どうした。スレイ。
分かっています。魔の気配です。
Maybe goblins know sorcery. No, they wouldn't have mind controlled themselves. Unless.
バリスの聖騎士だと。お前な、
I wouldn't be laughing. Literally could be you next.
Really?
I mean, I don't know how to guard against that. I've never seen that before. Dude just got California raisin.
For real.
バリスか。なおい。それよりここから出してくれるよう頼んでくれよ。もう盗みなんて。
You know, somebody knows Fireball.
ちょっと待てよ。俺はどうなるんだ。待ってろ。すぐ助けに来る。
Nope. I guess we didn't defeat that guy because he's back again. So I guess the answer to who was doing the mind control is this guy. Yeah, it's a bit much for one guy.
Yeah, he does that a lot. He doesn't seem to come up with a plan or strategy. Just go straight in, emotional, and jump in.
I guess that was a hobgoblin? Wasn't an ogre, too small. Wasn't a troll, because it didn't heal.
You have the Grey Witch.
And me.
And
I've been here the whole time.
Ashram.
I legit thought he would have stolen something from Parn when they were like face to face. Yeah, what the hell happened to him? I don't mean the spear. I recognize he got stabbed. It's the element that he was like...
Was that the Dark Elf?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He was all witty and shit before, and then it was like, ah, I'm a monster now. Legitimately, in the time that you're talking, he could have been healing you.
隊長も一緒に。
私はまだやることがある。いいな、逃げろ。
隊長。
はあ、良い騎士になれよ。
隊長。バーン。今君が言っても何にもならない。だけど。
Seems like the right thing to do. He wouldn't run on his own.
He's very brash.
There's also the element of, you know, wants to prove that his dad was what everyone says he was. And what does his dad do? Something dishonorable. The only thing I can think of that he would have done dishonorable was run away. Unless we have actually a greater dishonor coming our way, we'll find out. I don't know if that was legitimately the only time that he screamed out while attacking is the time he got defeated. Kind of like how every time Parn has attacked and screamed and been defeated. I don't know if that's like supposed to be a metaphor for like succumbing to your feelings and your feelings overcoming your ability for skill. As per the episode 1 thing, takes a human not to see skill.
その瞳を睨み返し、少年は心の内で戦いの火蓋を切って落とした。
There's no way he's seen his eyes from here.
Well, we get introduced to Ashram.
その進行に歯止めをかけんと、バリスに向かう俺たちの行く手を阻む魔女カーラ。彼女の真の目的は何か。次回、ロードス島戦記、灰色の魔女。ロードスの平和は俺が守る。
I guess that's his tagline. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Carla the Witch is Thesia. So I'm right. Okay. We got to play poker sometime as well. I'm just saying we got to play poker sometime is all I'm thinking.
We should play poker. She definitely has some motivations because remember she just appeared to the
guy at the end of the labyrinth.
The other kingdom. She appeared out of nowhere because the king didn't recognize her at all. None of them did.
Yeah, but what she said to the other guy was referring to the previous adventuring party, and that would imply at least one generation back. You know, the generation of, say, someone's parent, maybe.
Yeah, I think they mentioned her as being one of the 6 people, the original party.
It was either she said that to him or he said that to her. And I'm assuming since he's the dungeon master, he's probably telling her own backstory.
I won't be surprised that. Thing is, I saw it a very long time ago, so I don't remember all of it. It's in bits and pieces in my head, so I don't remember if that old man is he. I think he's also a member of the original party.
Okay, so we're doing the Naruto thing then.
I think so. I think he might be a member of the original party as well. That's why he recognized her when she showed up.
I'm just saying, I anticipate that Carla's not going to be her real name.
Well, I don't want to say anything yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, no, you basically confirmed it with your facial.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. You assuming.
You didn't say anything verbally, sure. I mean, well on you if this is like a ploy. Let me act surprised real quick.
You can read me that easily.
Well, I mean, there's no way you're going to pull this back. Like, either it's the master stroke of, I've been doing a lot of visual plays lately, and I'm now going to, oh, you were so right. Don't let me say that out loud. Let me just. So I'm going to assume I'm right until you're like 5 episodes from now. Haha, fooled you.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see when episode 5 comes in. We'll see by then. Like you said, 5 episodes in.
I mean, it's a 13 episode show. I just keep saying numbers until I'm not hitting 13 or less.
Well, we got 2 new people introduced to the show. We got Ashram.
Oh no, we got a lot. We have Ashram, Belern, whatever his name is, the Emperor. Technically, here's the thing: when I'm making the board, there's a bunch of people. When I'm making the board, I'm going to assume that other guy who may be a racist visual, I don't know. He looked very Chinese coded, and it's like Japanese show, Chinese guy, not the best combo. Appears to be another general or a royal guard. I don't know exactly what these people are. That guy, captain of the guard, Germa. I can't remember what he said his name was. Then Valis, the thief. That's 5 people so far. I'm sure there's somebody else.
No, that's Woodchuck. The thief is Woodchuck.
Valis. They said Valis.
No, he said Woodchuck.
I saw Valis. What are we?
Are you talking about the subtitle? It said Valis?
I'm pretty sure it did. Hold on a second.
All right. Maybe is it different in Japanese?
I don't read Japanese.
Well, no, but I'm saying, but it's being translated from Japanese as opposed to getting English dub.
Okay, no, I made a mistake apparently. Valis is one of the countries on the continent of Lodoss. So they said Valis, and I was reading it as a person's name.
Got you.
I never saw Woodchuck written down. Granted, I was looking for Woodchuck because you said the name to me before previously without any context. So I assume, I assume it's one of the 6 people. I didn't see the name Woodchuck pop up. Maybe I just missed it.
Funny. That's funny because in the conversation where, like, when the guard recognized the priest and let them go, and they were at the table eating, he brought Woodchuck's name up in that conversation. I wonder, did you get? So that didn't happen in your end then?
Like I said, maybe I missed it.
Okay.
Also, I'm flippant a lot of times, making jokes and whatnot, so it's very entirely possible.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Here's the thing: is that the first reaction is just me having fun. So sometimes the big things is what I latch onto, you know. But otherwise, I know I'm gonna be I'm gonna be rewatching and taking my notes anyway. So that's the element of when I said, like, I think in episode 2 where I was saying, "Oh, if you don't hear me say something about the board notes, I haven't done it yet." The element of people getting upset that I may have missed something because I'm talking over it or whatever. That's the purpose of rewatching and taking notes and discussing stuff. 1, letting the audience know what I know, and 2, letting them know I'm actually paying attention sometimes. But also the notes are good for me to be able to keep track of what my memory is incapable of keeping track of on its own. Like, I'm never going to remember people's names. I'm just not good at it. I'm watching too many shows.
No, especially when you're watching a fantasy show with all these weird names.
Well, to be fair, it's all Japanese animated. It's not names in my own language, right? So that's the purpose of the board, though. Even though somebody not too long ago said in the comments, it's funny that you made this board and everything to keep track of people's names, and you're still getting them wrong. 15 shows. 15 shows worth of names, and some shows have more characters in them than other shows. Well, I think like my Gundam board has 200 names on it at the moment. Legend of Galactic Heroes is 170 something characters.
Jesus.
Well, Legend of Galactic Heroes is a space political drama thing, so it's
How
all
many episodes
about.
is that?
Well, it's 100 for the actual show itself, but
Okay.
we took a pause so we could finish Macross, which is over 100 itself, the whole thing. Legend of Galactic Heroes, in its the show itself is 100 episodes, but we're in the guide and stuff, the backstory stuff, because we're doing it in chronological order, which itself is a lot. I think we're like 40, and we're nearish to done. But also
those many episodes, I can see why you have there's so many characters.
Oh
That's
no,
a lot of
like
episodes.
tons of characters get introduced every episode. Like I said,
Yeah,
we're only
that's
40
crazy.
into the backstory stuff, and we're at 170 characters.
Hmm.
It's just crazy. You know, it's one of the best sci-fi anime. I believe. I mean, it's been told to me. Right now, it's again we're still in the backstory stuff, but it's very again the politics of Star Wars essentially.
Okay.
It's a galaxy-wide
Across?
empire versus empire thing. It's like from the 80s.
It's called Macross, you said?
No. Macross is the other show. Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Oh, okay. I know what that is. Okay, I know what that is.
Yeah, no.
I've seen that.
Macross is also like from the 80s, but we're watching all of Macross. So Macross 0, which happens before the original show, SDF Macross, Macross 7, Macross Plus, Macross Frontier. Now we're on Macross Delta. Well, no, it's actually I don't know why Macross 7 is called Macross 7. It's not even it's a band, but it doesn't have 7 members.
Well, the Legends, right? Legend of Galactic Heroes, Legends, whatever. I've seen because they did a reboot to it, isn't it?
Yeah, I watched maybe 2.5 seasons of the reboot before we decided to do. I was watching the reboot with Griffin because I really like the opening song of Legend of Galactic Heroes. Die New Thesis is what it's called. The New Thesis. Binary Stars, I believe, is the opening song. Because it has that one lyric, "We never learn." And I just when the chorus hits that, and I really love that. But I never watched the original, so I have no like context. And the New Thesis goes really fast, kind of through the story. Like I said, it's 100 episodes of the original, and we haven't even gotten to that yet through Gaiden. I think we only watched 2 of the movies so far. There's a few Legend of Galactic Heroes movies as well.
Gotcha.
No, it's just real in depth. I don't know how you could watch that show without taking notes.
I haven't watched the original one. I did see the reboot one. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy that. So yeah, I understand there's definitely a lot of characters in that show.
Well, there's more.
It's a great show.
There's more in the original than there is in the new one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch the original. I did like that story very much.
I can't imagine you not liking it, other than maybe it being too slow at parts.
I don't mind that. I don't mind slow parts. I mean, a lot of stuff that I watch from the 50s and 60s, and all that super slow, and I still enjoy every bit of it. So
I don't know what anime you're watching from the 50s.
Well, no, but I mean, there's
TV
shows.
Sorry,
now,
you mean classic sci-fi. Yeah, sorry.
take a long time. This is one part. Like, okay, oh my god! But still, I don't mind that.
Got it.
But that was we got to meet a dark elf, and that's a new race that was involved in this.
I mean, I'm going to take for granted any D&D race. It's just going to be a race in this. And again, they've shown now that they're going with old school D&D, that the kobolds are dog people. Because again, I know in 4th edition and 5th edition, they are lizard folk. I'm saying lizard folk, they're like, 3-4 foot tall?
Yeah, 3 foot.
Like, lizard.
I wonder why they made that change.
I don't know. I know I've seen articles about the change that got made. I just don't know why it was made. I don't know what they are in 3.5. I would assume probably still dog people.
I tell you, the majority of the games I played, I've always kept the old school monsters for the art. I would describe them, if I was playing D&D right now and I was attacking my students with, let's say, any players with kobolds, they would have been dog-like people. What you just told me to me is brand new to me. I had no idea.
Well, see, the thing for me is that gnolls are already dog-like people. Like hyenas, I think they're supposed to be like. I mean, which is dog-like enough. So, for me, I wouldn't pull kobolds as being dog. Also, I guess, from my experience, I had like a couple of 2nd edition experiences, and then straight to 4th edition. That's because when I was a kid, I played with somebody who had 2nd edition books, and then when I got online and stuff was coming out, like the beta stuff for 4th edition was out there. So I went straight into kobolds or lizard people.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wonder what it made, but definitely you can see though, as you mentioned, as we're looking at, this is definitely going off of the 2nd edition or maybe an earlier version of D&D 4. We know.
Well, the 80s, right? In the 80s, kobolds were dog people. I'm just saying that anything that is in the D&D monster manual, I would just expect to see here. If there was something new pops up, or, I mean, granted, I don't know the entirety of the monster manual.
There's a lot of dragons here.
I mean, if a boulette shows up, I wouldn't be surprised. That was always my, back when I did like a couple of 2nd edition games, if there was a monster, the only thing I had read in the monster manual was land shark, a boulette. And it's like, is that a boulette? No, it's not a boulette. But maybe it's a boulette. It's like, I just wanted to be a boulette. It's the only monster I knew. But yeah, all I've got so far is it Marmo? Marmo was the name of it, the country?
Marmo.
Yeah, not a super intimidating name, mind you, but
the land of Marmo.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I go to like Mallow or something like that in my head. I'm thinking of like peanut butter and marshmallow sandwiches.
I wonder if that's a play on words, like 2 words combined together to make Marmo.
Marmo. Mar.
And it's an evil nation named Marmo. Well, I wonder if there's like a little call out to somebody. Although
I'm just thinking Mar as into Mar something. Mo. Marmo.
3 Stooges.
I can't get there. I mean, if it's an abbreviation of 2 different words, then you'd have to stretch, and it's too creative for my head right now to try and figure out what Marmo would be an abbreviation for.
I have no idea.
Again, it's just not very intimidating. It's my thing.
And again, it sounds like it will be something like it was mixed together. But I'm thinking also English. Maybe it's called Marmo in Japanese, and maybe that has a different significance.
Maybe it's maybe it is Malmo. The R for L substitution in Japanese.
Marmo. That's what I got here in my notes.
Yeah, I know. It's just that sometimes in Japanese they replace the R for L's sometimes. So, well, and I'm trying to stretch to see, like, Malmo, would that be something? Not to me.
I don't know. Not to me either. But it just seems that way.
I mean, you could LMA.
Then your knight, his name is Ashram.
Yeah, Captain of the Guard. That was not expected. I thought those were going to be generals or something. Even though he acts like a general in that he goes out and has a evil army behind him.
Yeah. And what's wrong with Dark Elf?
Kind of felt like more Warhammer than anything.
That armor did like pretty Warhammerish.
Well, I mean, I don't know that much about fantasy. Well, actually, Sorry, one of my favorite tabletop games is actually Warhammer Fantasy Role Playing Game Second Edition. So to say I don't know anything about it, just well, when I was thinking about it, the thing that came to my mind was the trailer for the Warhammer MMO game. Way back
The
when.
Warhammer MMO game?
Yeah, there was an MMO for Warhammer. It failed, so.
I had no idea it existed.
But the trailer was literally a castle being attacked. So, and it was just a bunch of the evil creatures you think would be there, and
trying to get in that World of Warcraft money.
Yeah, back in the day, everything wanted to be the WoW killer.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it just seems weird that the captain of the guard is going out to lead an army to assault a castle. That feels to me more what a enemy general would do.
He's also known as the Black Knight, though. So I wonder if even though he is captain of the guards, maybe there's more to it than that. Since they call him the Black Knight.
It's also really weird that the evil bad guys from the evil land of Marmo, have a knight thing going on.
Yeah.
But again, maybe we're gonna run into some Oathbreaker paladins and everything like that.
Well, the king seems like he was pretty ambitious about something.
Was it king or emperor?
Wasn't the king the?
Well, you said king. You're talking about the emperor of
the emperor.
Balin or whatever it was, right?
Nothing but the bad guy. The bad guy with the witch showed up.
Yeah, Balin, wasn't it? Balin, Baron. It was a B name. I keep forgetting every time.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I come back with a board, at the very least, I'll have a board that I can look at.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put these names together myself. So it's not an easy task.
No, well, like you said, I'm gonna be doing it for a board. So, and not for nothing, I'll be able to share that with you. So if you get confused, you have something to look at too.
No, I would appreciate that for sure.
I'm not going to bring up a board and start talking about it. You'd be like staring into the ether. Like, as you can see, I've done this. Like, all right. Any final thoughts about this episode?
No. I like how things are heating up a little bit here. The bad guys are on the move.
Well, yeah, like I said before about Final Fantasy escalation, our main characters, despite being on their own journey of, well, they're not even really on their own journey. It's like we're going to teach Parn how to fight. It's all we've really been doing. And then I guess maybe the exposition of Parn's actually a good guy. See, he came back to the jail cell like he said he would.
Well, we had like a close up of Parn's world and his people, and in this episode, I think we got to see a pullback to see the bigger picture.
Oh, also the unknown, right? Essentially, we know now because we saw him in the background, Goblin Boss, in this episode.
Yeah, we did.
Implies then that Goblin Boss is a part of the Marmo forces, which means that Marmo has technically attacked Parn's hometown. And now Parn, unrelated to that attack, now gets to discover, oh, these people are the ones that burned my village down, but they attacked my village and killed a bunch of people that I maybe cared about. They were kind of assholes to me, but I'm going to assume I cared about them. And then, I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's going to put that together, in fact. It seems like he's going to really hate Ashram because of this attack. And not even be concerned by the fact that, wait a second, was that Goblin Boss? Didn't Goblin Boss die in episode 1? Do all Goblin Bosses wear the same outfit?
No, he did. He did that because he stabbed him in the chest.
Yeah,
and then this guy seemed to have enchanted his sword in the process of doing that.
Well, yeah, for the moment. So I guess all Goblin Bosses wear the same outfit.
So maybe like it's gonna be like tissues, but just pull one out, grab another one. They're gonna be the same probably.
Or that's the Hobgoblin. So the other thing I said was a Hobgoblin wasn't a Hobgoblin, and Goblin Bosses are Hobgoblins.
But we definitely saw more than just hobgoblins. They were all goblins. We saw it looked like an ogre there, big sight.
No, I said it wasn't an ogre. Well, I said it wasn't an ogre. Maybe you think it's an ogre. I'm not going to try and argue what we think is each thing. But no, it's the element that I said it wasn't big enough to be an ogre, in my opinion, and it didn't regenerate, so it's not a troll. So I thought maybe it's a hobgoblin because it's bigger than the goblins. But the goblin bosses are also bigger than the goblins. Not that big. Like hobgoblins should be like human sized, and the goblins are smaller than humans. I was just thrown by the fact that we saw a guy in the background that we described as Goblin Boss because he was wearing the exact same outfit. And then we brought up in episode 2, where do you think they get their outfits from? Because it felt unique, that outfit. And, we said maybe he killed a guy and he took that outfit from him. A guy just happened to be his size. And then he's here in the background of episode 3.
Again, it could be a budget thing too.
Yeah, but I don't want to use that as an explanation.
I know. I don't know.
There's the element that I literally took this up when I was talking about Requiem for Vengeance with Lessons the other day, is that when they make mistakes in shows or something happens, you still have to take that as what's canon in the show. If they say gravity on Earth is only 50, is only whatever, then it is, And then when it's proven not to be, then it's not. It's just whatever they say. Well, we had a discussion that there's a character named Yuri who shows up in a show called 8th MS Team, where he is a admiral. And then he shows up in another show that takes place around the same time because he just travels, I guess, called Requiem for Vengeance, where they call him a general. And it's like, well, maybe he's both. I don't know. But the show said it.
He's known around these parts as the general, and the other parts he's known as the that could be. Who knows?
Well, as I said, the show says he's a thing, and the show exists in its own self, right? So,
yeah. But I think you're right. I don't think that's the same guy. I'm almost sure that's not the same guy. So maybe they all look like that. If there's another battle, and then we see that same guy again, then we know that's what he's just using.
Personally, I would love if it's the same guy. Like, he survived the stab wound somehow, and now has a personal vengeance against Parn, and it's just some background character nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he would know about the wizard. Like, Slain was just in the background doing a little wizard's prayer, as the wizards do, giving the enchantment to the sword. But the Goblin Boss was just staring down Parn, so all he would know is that Parn stabbed him.
I would think. His back was turned to the wizard anyway, so.
Yeah. I don't know. I still understand how wizards work. We apparently still do the whole Grimoire thing, reading books and whatnot, but then all I do is pray to God. I guess like most magic children. Well, like as a child, you want magic to work.
I wonder why they went that again. Why they went with that way? Because in D&D, that's not how it works. And again, it's usually studying arcane magics and from rituals. Never once will they mention that it was like a prayer to a god or any type of being.
So yeah, it's the difference between a sorcerer and a wizard.
Yeah.
A wizard studies, and a sorcerer has charisma.
I always hated that.
I mean, it still depends. It's, power fantasy. It's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
If you didn't want it to be that, stop playing D&D and play a different game that has better rules. Or finished rules. Or, I was thinking back to the 2014 Player's Handbook actually the DMG, that references rules that don't exist. No, look it up. And I think, God, I can't remember. Maybe my example here is wrong. The DMG references THAC0.
Oh.
In the index.
They don't exist no more, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a clever joke. Yeah, except if you're looking through the rules, trying to figure out the rules. Well, what page is this on? All right. Well, this has been episode 3. I guess here's the element. I don't think the threat of Marmo is really present at the moment. I know we just took down a castle, and the idea maybe that these goblins are working for Marmo and they took out some town somewhere. But the episode 1 feature of the king talking about these 2 kingdoms have been destroyed, and we don't actually know where that occurs timeline-wise. That feels like the real threat. Because they're talking about those 2 kingdoms this episode as though they've just been attacked. And in episode 1, they have been eliminated.
Yep. I don't want to say much, but they are working. Their army is pretty big, so at least we know there's a mix of humans. I don't know if
they got one dragon.
You perceive as the good guys, other than your typical dwarf, elf, and whatever. Where you see there's a bunch of monsters working for them. There's a lot, and we have the
Well, no, the good
priestess-
guys have at least
not
one
priestess,
dragon
the witch,
too.
the witch, who we don't know who she works for, and then we have
Oh, the old gods.
Well, maybe she was part of the original party, so
Yeah, she clearly turned evil. Changed her name, turned evil.
so that happened.
Look, that's what I'm putting my money on. I seem to be pretty prescient when it comes to guessing what's going to happen. Well, at least I've been on a winning streak with at least 3 shows so far. To be fair, I also make a lot of guesses and throw shit at the wall. So, that's my guess is that she is literally part of the old party that's been turned by God of Destruction. Forgot the name. Started with a K too, I think. And is now trying to bring him back. Poker face back on, huh?
I'm not saying nothing. I don't want to say anything.
Overreacted the first time, heavily overcompensating.
I don't know what you're talking about. But again, loving it. I'm enjoying rewatching it with you. I do. It's bringing back some really cool memories for me from watching the show the first time around back in the 90s. So loving it, loving watching it.
Yeah, it is fun. I appreciate you bringing this and getting to watch it with you.
Excellent. Happy to be here.
I think that's it for this episode then. So once again, I've been Theta. This has been Ray. We've been Stoneface Reactions. Well, this has been our nights. I do it every time.
More nights.
Yeah. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay, guys.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?